What is up, Gamescast? The Geekdom Gamescast. It's the last one, episode 40, Moody. I'm Brother Myke, as far as you know, for the old GHG heads right now. Do we have new names for Geeks Have Game? I never made one, so I'm still Brother Myke. Fuck it. It's my last episode here, so I might as well do it. And as always, I'm with the Monsignor Moody. How are you, Travis? How's it going?
Great. This is the one time I get to be the Monsignor since we haven't really changed any of the nicknames or anything. So yeah, it's the only time I really go by it. But yeah, man, it's episode 40.
Episode
Lot to go
40.
over. It's been a few weeks, so
It has been a few weeks. And if you didn't catch the last episode or you zoned out for some reason, it is my last episode. No bad blood between me and Moody. I'm just retiring from geek media. I'll say go back to the last episode if you want to hear it, or quick plug for the Geek and Fancast. I will be talking with my brother Derek also about just in general about like the geek years, like on that podcast on GHG, just in general. And we're gonna have a lot of guests from GHG on the second to last episode, and then me and Derek are gonna be in the last episode, and we'll bring up GHG for sure. That's a big part of our story. And I'll explain there because we have a lot of shit to get to. Actually, we missed a few weeks since E3. Moody got to do the last episode during E3, so hopefully you guys checked that one out. That was a good one. That was like Nintendo and all that, right, Moody? We still have like the state of play that happened and all that stuff. But yeah, so I just can't get over it's the last episode, man. It's crazy. Is it? How are you feeling? That's my big announcement.
It's bad. But if now
we'll still. I mean, personally, we'll still see each other and stuff. But like nothing's gonna change. Other than the fact that
I haven't seen you in so long that I still have your Nintendo Switch controller
from the last
original,
Givo.
like the second Givo.
Yeah, that's true.
So hopefully that changes soon. I mean, I went to 2 baseball games last week, and there was 40,000 people there at each game, and I get tested every day for my job.
And we're both fully vaxxed. So
yeah, fully vaccinated as an actor on a show. So I think we can hang out and be okay. Hopefully with and I wanted to mention that we were gonna have, and we'll talk about some Givo later on, but it was supposed to happen earlier, but with 4th of July, I was like, no, we'll push that back. So we're gonna actually do it on the last day of July 31st, hopefully, and we'll I don't know, get some recording in, or maybe we'll do a follow-up on that. Do want to say this, Myke, this is horrible. This is our last show, at least for now. Hopefully you pull a Ric Flair or Jay-Z and come back quicker than we think. Come back 9 times. 9 times. But I guess the plan is I'll take over hosting duties and have a rotating circle of guests, hopefully, on each show. Hopefully, nice. I say, because nothing's concrete now. There's no like major announcement, but this is kind of like a teaser. And the 3 names I have are no surprise, Delilah, just our number one. It made sense. She's our number one. I mean, pretty much our only video game reviewer at this point. No, there's others, but she's been writing, I mean, just dominating the video game review table for God Hates Geeks. And then this guy is awesome. He's always been good on the few times he's been on, and he just kind of steals our show. And it's Jameson Weir. I just had I had to pick him. He's just dynamic, he was like a fan of GHG for a long time. We were like, all right, you write this Dragon Ball review, sure, why not? No one else is doing it. And then we threw him on a show, and man, he's a star. And the other one, we haven't tested this guy out yet, but he's constantly posting in the Geekdom Gamescast Facebook group, so join that. Look it up on Facebook, Geekdom Gamescast. Christopher Epps, I think he's going to be a great addition. He's kind of a weeb into the whole he's a Ninfrendo, to steal IGN saying, but we need a Nintendo person. We have the hardcore gamers, we have the we have the Xbox person, we got the PlayStation person and Jameson, we got the hardcore gamer and D, and we need a Ninfrendo. We need a weeb. We need someone to cover that spectrum and bring it. And if his memes and his posts are half as good as he is on the show, then we're in for a treat. So between those three, and well, of course, we're gonna see Patrick when we do EA Play. You know, I'm sure if the Star Wars stuff, we'll bring him on. He's always fabulous, but we'll continue to have more GHG people. So I'm looking forward to doing the 2-person show, but me kind of just hosting and letting other people shine. I think that'll be where the Gamescast goes for now until Myke comes back and takes my seat.
That makes me super happy because I didn't want this to end on my account because there's so many enthusiastic people we've had on the podcast already that are all already love all those names. I mean, I haven't met Chris yet, but
I haven't either. This is a Facebook thing, but you know what? If you're that big into the gaming, you're that enthusiastic, that funny, who knows? I mean, he said he's ready to go. We'll give it a shot, right? So
yeah. I mean, you're in good hands, people. If at least for D and Jameson, and I'm sure Chris will be great too. So that's really awesome. I mean, I'm super glad actually that I'm glad this is gonna live on. My legacy is safe. I'll just be a hermit until someone finds my lightsaber and I have to pull my X-wing out of the ground for I don't know, Red Dead Redemption 3 or some shit. I like I said before, I'm definitely I'm gonna be taking a little bit of break because of classes and stuff, but eventually I do want to come back on here and the Geekdom Gamescast for like special episodes as a guest. I would love to. It's just a retirement from this full-time thing because there's just like a lot that goes into keeping up with everything for both podcasts, basically for movies, TV, and then video games. Like I'm a big fan of everything, but like having to keep up and then like me going through personally a career change and a bunch of other stuff, like it's just not sustainable. So but I'm still gonna play shit, so I'll probably have to be reserved for the bigger things because that's all I'll have time for. But I'll be excited to come back, and I'm glad it's gonna live on without me until then. So hell yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
You're
Yeah.
all
All right.
in safe hands.
Yeah.
um
So enough desk work. Let's talk games. That's what we do in the Games Cast. We got you weren't around for the last E3 stuff, but before that, we just had a state of play, right? So Sony, PlayStation, and yeah, go ahead, man.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't a spectacular state of play as in like they didn't bring their E3 guns out, but that's not the game they were trying to play. I mean, some fanboys, me included, maybe might have been excited for them to bust a Microsoft and just be like, all right, here's our games, but it didn't happen. They're gonna
Not
trickle
even
it down
close.
slowly.
Yeah.
They're just doing their own thing and they're not
Yeah.
trying to, I guess they're not trying to play the game, so whatever. But
No, and they can, right? They're PlayStation. You know, everybody still wants a PS5, and they sell
yeah,
out in seconds, and they resell for twice the price. So
yeah,
yeah, they
exactly.
can kind of do what they want, but we'll see how long that lasts. In the meantime, though, state of play. What
I
stood
mean,
out? It's kind of obvious, right?
speaking of like do what they want, they opened with like a Microsoft Studio game that's going to be exclusive to the console for a year,
Mm.
basically in Deathloop.
Well, they
Uh,
finished. They finished with Deathloop. Yeah,
oh yeah, that's true.
yeah. Their notes are not in the order of what they showed. It's just the highlights. Yeah, because
Right, but I
there's
mean that's basically the show, anyways. It was mostly Deathloop, wasn't it?
ab-
Like they showed Sifu, they showed Lost Judgment. Sifu looks pretty cool. Looks like an indie brawler kung fu thing. Looks pretty badass.
It reminds me of the hallway scene from Daredevil. I mean, the raid, right? So, and
Yeah,
then
that for
as
sure.
as the trailer went on, it was only about a minute long. As they kind of got in the second half, started going into like Shaolin temples and stuff. So, yeah, this is an instant winner, Sifu, because it's not like the big AAA thing. You know what I
No.
mean? It's kind of it's a show. There's a lot of small indie games and VR stuff, and we could talk about that forever, but we got a lot to cover. But as far as what really stood out from the state of play, I mean, right, Deathloop. We want to talk Deathloop for a minute.
Yeah, they showed a lot of Deathloop. They showed like a lot of systems and mechanics and stuff. That game looks way more dense than I didn't think it wouldn't be, but like seeing everything put together, I still want to have my hands on it before I like really have the thing. I don't know, like I'm intrigued, but I wouldn't say I'm like super excited because I just don't I need to play it to see what it is, like I
Mhm.
that's what E3 is kind of good for. Like it would have been cool to play this as a demo,
Yeah.
But seeing it is the next best thing, you know, and it does look interesting. This studio is someone I haven't played before, but you have, right? Haven't you
Arcane.
played?
So
Have you
I was gonna
played
say,
arcane games before? Like,
yeah,
does
I was
this
gonna say, do
kind
you
of mesh
really?
up?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you really need to play this? It's Dishonored as if Quentin Tarantino directed it,
Well, see,
right?
that's the thing. I haven't
So
played Dishonored, so
yeah.
does
So
this make you excited though? Like, compared since you've played Dishonored?
it's familiar territory for me.
Okay.
So it's one of those like, all right, it's not gonna steal the wave for me. It's not gonna be the Ratchet and Clank or anything. It's not gonna, but it's a territory. No, it really is very Dishonored. Like, it's flashier. There's a scene where kind of running on the rooftops, kind of Arkham Asylum, like, I mean, also Dishonored, but it's so flashy. This is like
Yeah.
way flashier, like Dishonored steampunk and very dark and kind of more in the shadows. It wants you to do the stealth, but then it's like, all right, fuck it. That's kind of like, I feel like, quote, all right, fuck it should be like its tagline, because I think that's where they're going with this. And
Yeah.
then it's like the revolver flashing at on people as you're doing flips on it. It's really flashy, very grindhouse worthy, and it seems to have captivating characters. We didn't see any cinematics, so they kind of went total gameplay on this. So that's why I'm like, oh, it's Dishonored. Where before it was like, I don't know, this is like, it's grindhouse. The characters seem cool, but we don't know. And now we know. It really is Dishonored
Yeah.
with next gen. It's 4K. It looks really nice. It's very colorful though, as you can see in
Yeah.
the background. Look at this. Is
Yeah.
That's it. That's a hallway scene.
That's the thing that really popped for me is like, if it looked like just what Dishonored looked like, but it also was flashy and colorful and like you got style, which not a lot of games have, like especially like a big game like this. It's usually toned down and realistic and gritty and stuff, and trying to be something like at least some sort of realistic looking, you know what I'm saying? So this being colorful and flashy and stylistic is actually like really cool. And combine that with all the abilities you have, I didn't realize. I knew it was some sci-fi, but it's really pretty sci-fi, which is
Yeah.
pretty badass. And yeah, I can't wait to
I feel
see
like
what it
John Cena right now. I can't. You can't see me. Did that just work?
try to do.
John Cena.
I think if you do this, it
Yeah, it
focuses
worked.
your camera.
You can't see me. That's why I get the Boston hat. So
But
other than
yeah,
that, man, I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to Lost Judgment,
the
RGG.
sequel to Judgment, and
So
the last
yeah.
in the series, apparently, according to news today, because the character likeness rights are in question because of some there's some articles about that. Go check it out. But yeah,
Yeah,
this might be the last in the series because of the main actor or whatever. Unless they find another actor, but this is the sequel, the proper sequel, and Judgment was one of your games of the year.
it was. So here's the thing: I mean, most people embrace the turn base of Like a Dragon,
Mhm.
Yakuza. But if you didn't, this is the traditional Yakuza gameplay. And so and of course, you could probably play Judgment for under $20, maybe 10 now. So do it if you love the Yakuza series. And then you'll jump. The story is gonna definitely pick up right from where this did. So yeah, it's a no brainer for me. Sega. So yeah, go do it. The other thing I want to mention, bad, is my favorite anime is Demon Slayer, right? So just ordered those new Funko things, because who doesn't, that likes anime, right? But uh the Hinokami Chronicles is another arena fighter. It's like it is from the people from Ninja Storm, Naruto. So at least of all the arena fighters, like, it's the best, but it's still an arena fighter. It's like, when are we gonna get these anime games? Are like, again, Dragon Ball Fighters. We say this all the time when
Yeah.
we talk fighting games. It's the one that stood out because it got Arc System to do the combat and the technique, and we'll talk Arc System in a little while. But yeah, I just wish, Demon Slayer's so cool, and it's relegated to an arena. It's relegated to
Is
this
it because
so.
all these anime games are kind of like just arcade ports? You went to Tokyo
Mm.
recently, semi
This is no,
recently.
none of them are arcade
No,
ports,
I
no.
feel like it, right? Like just like kind of like whatever B games and like their arena fighters and not too
Yeah, they're not
crazy.
arcade ports, but they're whatever fighters. Yeah, absolutely. It's like they know they're gonna sell based on the IP.
Just the name alone.
And,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's kind of, and I mean, there were successful ones, the early Dragon Ball before we got fighters. And the Naruto ones are really good actually for arena fighters. But then every anime IP, when they did a game, has just jumped on this bandwagon. I mean, one of the exceptions is Attack on Titan because it's not a fighting game. But yeah, I mean, most of these are just, yeah, they're just paint by numbers, like the My Hero Academia stuff. Forget it, it's just like,
Yeah.
you're just running around buildings and stuff instead of actually having like intense combat, like the stuff that we like, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. So kind of a shame, but other than that, state of play, we can move on maybe.
Yeah, I mean that was it. It was 30 minutes basically. It was like nothing.
All
Well,
right.
I'm sure we'll get more from Sony later on in the year
Yeah.
and stuff as things go on. They still have more. I mean, they're still trying to release a huge game this year. So, besides Deathloop, I'm talking about Horizon. So I mean, I'm sure we'll hear more stuff, and then we should get more Ragnarok later on this year. So look out for Moody and maybe D covering that later
Yeah.
on the Gamescast.
Maybe. I got a question for you though.
What's
Question
up?
for you. Big question. So you were not on the last E3 show just due to work. Just we had East Coast peeps. We had to get them on, and your West Coast time getting out of work. You get out of work almost like 9 p.m. their time.
Yeah.
So, and then plus the traffic that we had
Yeah, I
to
get
deal
home
with
at
the night
10 p.m.
before.
their time, so it's
Yeah.
just not viable for me to
It
get
did
on with East Coast peeps that
right,
much.
right. It didn't work.
Sadly.
So I know it was a few weeks ago, but it's still E3. It's
Mhm.
still a thing. It's still kind of the center of our universe, even though there's a lot of pundits lately that are like, oh, it doesn't matter. But I'd like your thoughts on kind of like what we missed. I mean, like what you missed, like on the show, like the Nintendo, like anything, the Elden Ring, or like what do you think of the Direct? Like give us some
Okay,
quick
so as far as
thoughts.
Nintendo goes,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Nintendo. I love Nintendo. Like as a concept overall from the NES and stuff.
Right.
But as far as a hardcore person that plays like every DS game, every 3DS game, I'm not that person.
Yeah, same.
Really. No. So I heard the hype about Advance Wars 1 and 2. I've been hearing hype about Advance Wars 1 and 2. So but I haven't played it. So I'm looking forward to play that. It looks pretty interesting. Everyone says that we both just got into Fire Emblem. So it's like I heard a lot of people being like Advance Wars is basically like military Fire Emblem. So I was like, oh, I'll check that out then, I guess. And like WarioWare and stuff like that. I'm not a huge WarioWare guy, or even the big one for everyone, Metroid Dread, which is like the old school throwback Metroid side scrollers. It's properly the fifth one, right?
Right.
Of the side scrolling canonical Metroid series.
Yeah, because Fusion was 4.
Yeah, I like didn't get into those. Although I'm looking forward to playing Dread, I will definitely give it a shot because it's such a mainline Nintendo IP, and like since I was too like impatient as a kid to deal with how hard the first Metroids were, I'm curious to see that as an adult. I'm looking forward to dealing with that. But I was excited for Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yeah,
just because Persona head. So and that's a recent thing too, but I really love Persona 5. I love Persona Strikers. I love that whole thing. And then even I know that it's just kind of like a child of the Shin Megami Tensei series, but even in the gameplay trailer, you were seeing personas from the games in that gameplay loop. I was like, oh, that's the Frosty guy, and that's Jack, and all that stuff, all the personas. I was like, oh, this is cool. So I know this is a port, or this is kind of like a remaster. I'm excited to get into it though. Also, I made a joke about this on Twitter, but like just the name is pretty fucking cool. Like Shin Megami Tensei, what a cool ass name.
Oh, like, hey, yeah, you go up to someone and be like, yeah, I'm playing Halo and Call of Duty. I'm playing Shin Megami Tensei 5. Dude, what? Like everyone, like you just
exactly.
It's like the whole.
Like usually you'd have to be like, I'm playing Kirby's Yarn. Yarn World.
Hold that dude back. He just said Shin Megami. Hold him back.
So I'm excited for that. I'm really looking forward to that. And obviously I'm really looking forward to Breath of the Wild too. They didn't show us that much gameplay or anything, but they did show us enough to get excited for. If you're a fan of Breath of the Wild 1 with the new platforms, the aerial, there's basically going to be air land over Hyrule. There's going
Mhm.
to be new weapon, or like a new gravity boot power thing,
Yeah.
and just the idea of a new gameplay mechanic. The Zelda team is going to do something crazy with it, and it seems like, I don't want to be the person that overhypes it, but it seems like the proper return to dungeons might be there if they're going to start doing that stuff.
Hopefully.
But I was a fan of Breath of the Wild for what it was
Yeah.
anyways,
So
so
I
I'm really
pre-ordered
stoked for it.
this. I pre-ordered this because they just had an Amazon link, and it's Amazon. Like, they don't charge you till they ship, and it's gonna be like a year from now anyway, right? Or whatever.
Yeah,
So
2023.
yeah, right. So anyway, like, I went back and was like, all right, I have some time. I'm gonna play Breath of the Wild, and it's been like 2 years, maybe longer, right? And I threw it back in, and man, I just spent like 2 hours just not doing it. I just couldn't get anywhere. It's like I was stuck on a Ganon fight, so I backed out of it and went back. And I can't recall now. It had already been a couple weeks, but there was just like this big temple puzzle thing, and I like went on guides, wiki guides. I went on YouTube and I got some of the stuff, but man, it is just way dense. And I don't know how so many casual players, this is what got them back into video games. This is the people I played. People say I played this 2 or 3 gameplay throughs. I'm like, I'm stuck on this thing for like, maybe it's because I haven't touched it in so long, but I'm stuck on this thing for an hour and a half, and I'm using guides, and I'm frustrated. You know what I mean? I'm like dying in the
Yeah,
sand. I don't have enough hearts. I'm like, I watch YouTube videos and they have way more hearts than I had, and like, I'm
you should
like,
just
dude,
leave that area and like just do something completely different. That's what's
I
cool
know,
about Breath of the Wild, is like, could you
I
do
guess,
anything at any point in time.
I guess, man. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's making me sweat right now just thinking about it. Just being in that desert.
I've had
Uh,
oh yeah, that desert thing I did last, so maybe you don't want to do
okay.
that as soon.
All right. I don't know if I can. After that, I shut it off. I'm like, I don't know what's up with this. I don't know if it's for me. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean, not
yeah.
everything's for everyone. Even, I mean, there's even Zelda fans that don't like Breath of the Wild as much.
No, like,
So
what's the one that was it? Not Link to the Past. The one Link's Awakening. I was like, love that game. Like,
yeah.
when the remaster, I was like, this is my Zelda. I was like, I love this stuff.
You
So
aren't alone, really, even
yeah,
among Zelda fans.
yeah. Well,
There's
thank
That's a
God.
divisive game, but I'm on the other side. I really enjoyed the shit out of Breath of the Wild, so I can't wait for the Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah,
I
I'll
mean, my
eventually.
sister's a huge
Yeah.
Zelda fan, and she also didn't finish it, so
Hmm.
it's kind of a divisive game.
Yeah, I got it.
Um, and then what else did I miss, Moody, as
Well,
far
there
as
was an
E3
Xbox
goes?
showcase that they did the next day, or
Right. Oh yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
same good thing with Paris. He hosted it, and it was they went over just a couple. I put some highlights there just because it was kind of more or less the same stuff, but I know they actually could have. I guess my comment on the Games Cast was that they really should have just combined these, or took like all the smaller games out of that Xbox showcase and put, like, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2 wasn't at the original Xbox
Yeah.
presser, and it was here. So I thought, yeah, I don't know. So that was cool that they did that. And then did you ever play Plague Tale? Innocent?
No, but it is free on PS Plus this month, so I'm going to check it
Oh.
out. And I
Oh,
know
cuz
that it's
it's okay.
optimized right now, so I wanted to check that out on
Okay.
PS5.
So it's free. Is it optimized on PS as well, or just for Xbox?
I Yeah, it's optimized for PlayStation as well. I think
Hmm.
that's why they're doing the whole PS month
Okay.
thing. So
Okay, yeah, because I remember just a week ago it just hit Xbox for optimized. So yeah, once I get a Series X, I'm gonna definitely check this out because the new one looks cool.
yeah,
So
I've always wanted to check it out too.
Requiem.
I always heard it was pretty heavy as far as like thematic things go. So I'm
Mhm.
like, I've always been in a situation where I'm like, I know I've heard really good things about this, but I
Mhm.
know it's gonna like be not your typical like jump in, have fun for a couple hours. I'm saving that for like a really slow weekend, and I just want to like get into something, not a movie or TV show,
Yeah.
and I'll be ready for like a more arty video game. I
Mhm.
was gonna check that out. So, but I
Yeah.
heard good things, and I can't wait to. I mean, the whole thing with rats. I have real ass rats in my backyard, so
Uh-oh.
I don't have to like
Yeah.
we have like a garden in our backyard for people that don't know, and like they're like feasting on our like radishes and shit. But
Mhm.
I deal with that shit in real life, so I don't
Art
need to.
imitating life here.
It's hard to like want to get into that on a thing. It's kind of like what we said about Death Stranding. Like I work in real life, so it's like hard to get into a game where I work.
Yeah.
Cut to me talking about Stardew Valley, like I loved it, even though it's basically
Mhm.
also just work. But that's more meditative. But yeah,
Like
that's
Shenmue?
yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah.
If I was in high school and had the summer off, then yeah, I would do that same shit.
Yeah, let's
But
work.
yeah, maybe in retirement when I'm in my old folks' home,
I
and
miss
it's
working back in the day.
exactly. I'll pop in Death Stranding at
Yeah.
my retirement home and play it on my TV with all the old
Mhm.
gamers, because the retirement homes are going to be way different when we get old. But yeah, that's pretty much E3, right? So
I guess the
Moody,
only thing I want to add is one of the best trailers, and Patrick, you and I talked about Battlefield 2042. They explained that it was a 128 player map, and that
insane.
yep,
That's insane. I can't
so
wait.
that yeah, it was good to get some levity behind such a magnificent trailer. Sometimes you get the magnificent trailer, and then you get the details, and you're like, oh well, they kind of tricked us. But this was like there's like a conquest mode, and it kind of offers a variety of battles across a single map. So even though it's just one map, you're gonna kind of go through stages, which is
Mm,
really cool for a player like me who's like looking for a campaign. That's kind of it. And then there's also breakthrough, which is very similar in that vein, like where there's like it's like a guided journey through a map. So it's like same thing, it's like you can have the variety of battles in a map, so it's not just the same shit. And then you got the guided journey, so they're actually probably have like little tiny kind of there's substance. There's some going to be some exposition, some cutscenes or something like during this map where you'll have like the attacker and defender and stuff. So they're giving some weight to this multiplayer game, knowing they don't have a campaign. They're trying to draw people like me in, and so far they're kind of doing it, man. So especially if we're not doing the show and I can connect with you on Battlefield, at least that'll make up for it. So that'll
oh
be
yeah,
cool.
that's something
Yeah.
I admire about Dice is they've been trying to do that, and they haven't given up on it, which I like.
Mhm.
They have a version of that in 1, and then in 5, they you see them tweaking and playing with modes, and they're not always successful, but the where I admire them is that they're just going to keep on trying, and then it looks like this time they might get it this time, and that
Mhm.
might be really cool and exciting, and kind of breathe new life into online shooters and stuff, because it's kind of getting stale across the map
Right.
as far as all the modes in online shooters. And this comes from someone who played thousands of hours of Modern Warfare the other year.
Mhm.
So I'm excited
Yeah.
to play that, and especially on the Series X, where
Right.
it's gonna look fucking beautiful. I'm
Mhm.
guessing, especially with like all those people. That still boggles me. Is I cannot wait to see what that looks like. Hopefully, it's not too crazy.
Right.
That being
Hopefully the
said,
servers don't crash.
yeah.
So,
Oh,
but do
they will for a while, and
yeah,
then we'll just
yeah.
deal with it, and then come back to it, and it'll be fine after a couple
Mm.
weeks,
Yeah,
hopefully.
right.
What would you, now that we're done with E3 though, Moody, what would you say is your best in show for E3?
Okay, so it's crazy because there was just these crazy discussions we had. So this is kind of why I'm bringing Christopher Epps on, because he's the one who called me on my shit, and I said, all right. So it's kind of like if you can't beat him, join him, right? So I'm gonna go with it was also the best Nintendo game, and I think it's a clear cut choice for me. It's Metroid Dread. I spent $90 on a collector's edition after they sold out by bots. It's a good thing you didn't want that, but it's like I haven't played Metroid since the Prime series, and I've been begging for a Prime series, and I pre-ordered Metroid Prime 4 like 2 years ago or something, maybe longer, and it even got like a date change. They haven't canceled that thing yet on Amazon, strangely enough. But yeah, I got my hands on this collector's edition. The art book looks cool. I love steel books. There's also resale value in this. D and I talked about it. So where you buy a regular game, you'll get $20 from GameStop. So it's worth paying the extra 30. But look, Metroid Dread, after I watched the deep Nintendo Treehouse Live gameplay, I was hooked. Like, I think the first trailer I saw, I was like, this looks like a mobile game, right? And this is what I said in the prior show. But once they went through it, and they did a great job, like they showed a lot and they explained what was going on and all the new weapons and everything, which we went over in prior show. But yeah, it kind of like got me on. Now, will it be extremely hard? That might be the issue there. So
Dude,
yeah,
I'm already sweating thinking of that thing following you through all the
yeah.
maps. It was already giving me anxiety watching that treehouse. I was like, no way, dude. I mean, way in the fact that it looks cool, but no way as far as my nerves go.
Right.
That
But
shit's gonna be hella
they're
stress.
giving you a lot of chances to overcome this thing though. So once they
Right.
explained like the wall magnets and like the different kind of like the way to shut that thing those things down for a little while, um temporarily with the time running out and stuff. They're kind of it's going to be a ball buster, but they're giving you a chance. It's not just regular Samus and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be fine. It's going to be hard, but it's handheld. You could do it at work. If you die at work, who cares? But yeah, I think it'll be dope. But did you have a number one?
Yeah. Breath of the Wild 2.
You just showed like a
I'm
minute.
gonna be that guy. I don't
Yeah,
care. Fuck it. It's the last show. I'm excited for Breath of the Wild 2.
yeah, yeah.
We
It's
didn't
okay.
see shit. Who cares?
Homer, you're a
we
homer.
saw enough, I
I'm
think.
not a Nintendo guy. Look at us. Look at us. We're not Nintendo guys. Our number
Who would
one
have thought?
game, Metroid and
Who
Link.
would have thought?
All right. So, but did we agree on number two? I think we did, right? I don't
My
even. I
number
don't
two
see
and
your
number
list, but
three are literally yours. So
really,
number two, we'll say together, Halo Infinite
Halo Infinite
multiplayer.
multiplayer
Looks badass, man. I'm
looks
excited for
badass, man.
Halo.
No, just-
I'm excited for Halo, dude.
dude,
Uh
hell yeah.
I didn't play a lot of the multiplayer in 5. The
I
other shit
did
came
play
out.
some of it, but not
Yeah.
nowhere as much as playing Halo 2 and 3. Like
Oh
I did
no,
back in the day,
exactly.
but I did
I
play
didn't
some of it.
try. I didn't
Yeah,
I tried it out, but I didn't play it exactly like you said.
yeah,
I'm thinking back to high school days and playing Halo 2
right.
for
It's
hours
kind of
on
hard to
end.
play a lot of multiplayer adulting,
Right.
but
But
I
I
think
think I will with
yeah,
this Halo because
yeah,
it just looks so cool. They have the ability to do like store your abilities.
mm,
They really, from the breakdown they had on the bigger showcase,
mm,
it just the way they were talking sounded like they listened to the fans a lot. And
mm.
I know 343 has a lot to prove because their mixed reaction with the whole Master Chief collection. So I think that they are ready to step up to the plate, and it sounds like they are. And like what they showed, it's gonna look beautiful. Series X, it's gonna look great on that machine. And
Still don't
with
have a Series X. I'm like, yeah, boy, what, yeah. I still don't have one because I want a Halo one.
yeah,
It might take 3 years because they're behind
you
on the
want something to play
manufacturing,
on
but
it too. That's not fucking Outriders,
well,
right?
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna wait for a Halo edition, but I'm not gonna buy an Xbox Series X till probably Halo. So this way, if they do announce it and it's coming this year, I'm not gonna have to like kick my own ass for buying one like now and hardly playing it.
Yeah,
Besides like Game Pass, like the heavy hitters start coming out in September with Left 4 Dead, and then of course Psychonauts comes out before that in August and stuff. But I mean the prime games, and then our number three, Forza
Forza Horizon 5.
5 is gonna be out in December.
Yeah,
So there's no real rush for me to get an Xbox Series X because it's really for me personally. I know you want, some of the other games, but Halo and Forza for me. So, you have it. You got your Series X because you're doing the stock market and stuff. But
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. I would be in your shoes if AMC didn't have a freak rally last month.
yeah,
So I'm there with you. It's
yeah,
crazy to you have a PS5 already. You don't need to buy one.
Right.
until all
Until
these
Halo
games
and
come out.
Forza come
Yeah,
out, because I don't play on PC, so I don't have that option. It's cheap. It's going to be a cheaper option much cheaper option to go this way with a Series X. So not
I'm
that I
so
do.
excited for Horizon 5 though, man. That looks great. The
Mexico.
landscape looks really good.
Mhm.
I have the kind of opposite experience that you had with Zelda. I would say Horizon 4 didn't really get me at the time, but I re-downloaded it after watching all the showcase stuff and really got into it for a little bit. And I only stopped because there's other games that I needed to play for the podcast, but I could see myself just jumping into it's still installed and it's got quick resume on the Series X now. So I occasionally just if I want to kill some time before I go to bed or like before I go to work, if I wake up early enough, like I'll do a couple races in Horizon 4. I really got into it. I see
Yeah.
what everyone was talking about now. And I'm into it. And I I did get good. I learned how to brake
Nice.
properly. That might be it.
Nice.
You know, sometimes get good is real and
Yeah.
it actually works, I guess.
I
So yeah,
definitely
that,
sunk
that
I definitely sunk like a good 40, 50 hours in Horizon
I could
4.
see it, dude. I
And then yeah,
just
another
starting
20.
over again, I was like, holy shit, there's so much to do, man. And
Oh
they've
yeah.
been adding seasons and stuff. And
Mhm.
like once I finish the race, I could see how anyone could get sucked into that game. So I really can't wait to jump in from the ground level because I wasn't able to jump in from the ground level for 4. So like
Mhm.
jumping in from the ground level from 5 and playing it kind of like I played Modern Warfare or how we play 2K21 sometimes, where you just play it occasionally every now and then as seasons change. That'll be fun. I can't wait to do that.
Yeah.
Just
Uh
have that on my Xbox and just come back to it every now and then.
I do miss motorsport though. I do want linear racing. I know it's like, oh, it's NASCAR stuff, but I do want I like how the seasons and the standings and the different challenges you get, bonus rounds. I do miss that because when you're playing an open world, after a while you do kind of lose interest no matter how great the game is. It's just kind of endless, right? Where I do like the linearity of Forza Motorsport, and also the harder sim stuff, like the damage on the car and everything. So the fact that they're delaying that though is cool because they can kind of like use this as like a set piece for technical reasons with the new console. So that could be mind-blowing. Like this is gonna touch on the power of Series X. Motorsport could like maximize the power of Series X. So
I could
that
see
would,
that.
yeah, that could be a thing. But can we give quick E3 awards? Best trailer, Outer Worlds 2, right?
Yeah,
It was
I agree.
hilarious.
Super funny.
It was a minute
So
long and it was
great.
just the best thing. And then we already talked about Battlefield 2042. Definitely looks like the best third-party game in my opinion. Did you have another one?
Not off the top of my head, man. Battlefield 2042 looms large.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, there's a bunch of games I'm going to check out that could possibly be better, but as far as an E3 showing,
Yeah.
2042 has got it. As far as
Mm.
bringing
Yep.
bringing something to the conference, you know what I'm saying?
And then yeah, Replaced was to me like the best, it's like a game no one's really talking about right now, but as far as like best dark horse, like that could be, that was just a cool showing right there.
Definitely
Yeah.
super eye popping and
Hmm.
like one of those games you're like, holy shit, what is that, dude?
Hmm.
Um, and that yeah, it's cool to find one of those because those are never like something that is leaked or whatever. All these other games we always hear news about, and there's always fan speculation. But it's fun when a game can just surprise the hell out of you, and that's what Replace did. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a
Cool.
well-deserved winner of that award.
And that's really a fallout. That's almost a month after E3. But we had a state of play, and that's kind of like
Yeah,
E3 leftovers for Sony since they only had Horizon, Forbidden West. So it's okay. We're coming in full circle here. So
yeah,
uh yeah, but I mean now we can move on to the meat and potatoes.
right. I mean, it's believe it or not, it's the middle of the year. 2021 is going by super fast, and that means it's time for us. I mean, why not before I sign off for a while, just talk about the best games that we've been playing throughout this year, kind of like recapping. Moody, do you want to go first, sir, with
Yeah,
number
sure.
5?
So, ironically enough, if you look on our YouTube, there's like 5 videos there, and they all say the best whatever Star Wars Marvel Legends, Transformers of the year, because a toy kind of mood, plug. We did the same thing. So there's some synergy here at Geeks Have Game. Love it, love it, love it. So far, first half of the year, first 6 months, this is our best video games of 2021. Now, I just want to give an honorable mention. This was number 5 until I dug really deep into it. But I'll give it an honorable mention. Scarlet Nexus, okay? Shout out to Bandai, provided review copies. Shout out to D, of course. Nobody else does reviews as fast as, I don't know how. I think she did the both playthroughs. There's 2 characters. They both have 20-hour playthroughs. I'm at hour 18 with one character. I think she did both. And it's astronomical, her workload with these reviews and the progress she can make in such a quick time. I've never seen anything like it. But yeah, she gave it a 3.25. Go read the review. Geeks Have Game. It's right on the front page. I give it the same score so far, and I think I'm in phase 8. There's 12 phases. It seems like it's taken me longer. I did all the bond episodes, which are kind of like, you remember in Fire Emblem, how you can bond with your character, your students or whatever. It's kind of the same thing. You're bonding with the other characters, and they're kind of like the funny, quirky anime type things. So main difference here is it's got a very manga styled, instead of just regular cutscenes where you're kind of just sitting there watching them. You're kind of reading a visual, kind of visual and
Right.
reading at the visual novel kind of thing. So that's kind of the difference. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to go super in depth because D did it. This is a mega review.
What do you think the
But
perfect
yeah.
price is for this game? Because I was like, I don't know if I want this for full price. Seems like it would have been a great Gamescast game, but or Game Pass game. But what would you say? $40?
It's 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll even say, well, I give it a 3.25. I'd have to say wait till Black Friday. It's Bandai, $30.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Black Friday.
Good to
Yeah.
know.
I know it's horrible to say when someone gives you a game for free and they give you like the deluxe edition. That's God knows how long. But I mean, we have to be honest with the game, right? So
Yeah.
it's good. It's a good game if you're really into this thing. Like we had mentioned that it's very like Astral
Astral
what was
Train.
it? Astral Train
Yeah.
and kind of the anime control. We had talked about this already when we reviewed the demo on the show, but if those games are up your alley and you're kind of seeking that same thing and you're super anime, yeah, I mean, pay the $60, or get the deluxe. You'll love it. But if you're just kind of curious about it, maybe wait till Black Friday. But I mean, so far it's a good game. I haven't completed yet,
All
but
right.
the boss battles are awesome. The music is cool. The visuals aren't quite next gen because it's on PS4 as well as it's an up the whole upgrade. It looks good, but it's a lot of grinding, so
Okay.
uh, not Destiny grinding, but kind of. But just wanted to mention that because it's kind of what I'm playing now. But top 5, why don't we do if you have a top 5, I'll do 5, then you do 5. Kind of that's what we did on the
Yeah.
12 show.
Yeah. So
So
if Scarlet Nexus was your honorable mention, what's
you have
your
an
number
honorable
5?
mention. You have an
I
honorable
would
mention.
say my honorable mention is Biomutant.
Okay, there you go. Love it.
That's also like another $30 game. It was my number 5 until I caught up with my real number 5, and then I was like, oh no, that's definitely
Yeah.
Biomutant. I'm giving it a lot of points. It got bad reviews, and then it's not. I will say it's not undeserved, those bad reviews, but I got a feel for the team because they're so small and they were so ambitious, and their vision is kind of unique and interesting and different. So it's the thing with the game is, I've talked about it on the podcast before, but it ramps up slow, and then it gets to a point where it's like, oh, this is actually fun, but then it kind of peters off and gets grindy as well. And if the whole thing feels like they bit off more than they could chew, and they try to give you value for your buck by creating this huge game as a small team, when they probably would have been best served doing the Ratchet and Clank thing and doing a traditional platformer almost. But that being said, there's still some interesting things in there. I had fun with it eventually and for a little bit, and then uh yeah, but I say around the same, like maybe 30, even $20, or like if it ever comes to Games Pass or whatever, like check it out
It'd be a
there. It's
great
worth
Game Pass game for sure.
yeah, it's worth
Yeah.
checking out, but I wouldn't spend too much money or even race to it. But if you have the time and you're interested, it is a unique, interesting, like, like,
Yeah.
good job for trying, developers, kind of
Mhm,
situation. And the characters and some of the art is pretty eh, cute and like artistic and creative.
mhm.
So I would check that out, but not good enough to make the top 5 of the year, especially this year. So yeah, that would be my honorable mention. What would be number 5, Moody?
There's nothing wrong with good games. Let's just say that, right? Because everyone's like, "Oh, it's trash or it sucks." We've talked
Right,
about
yeah,
this,
exactly. A game could
because like
just
if
be
we
like
give
solid.
yeah, if we give something that's like in the threes, whether it's a 3, a 3.25, 3.5, or like this game, a 3.75, they're worthy. Like if you're not playing anything and you want to play something, that's good. Anything less than a 3 though, you might want to try it first for free. But anything a 3 and plus, if you can get a discount, cool, go get it. Number 5. This was my most addicting game of 2021. I forgot it came out this year because I was playing it in January. I was
Whoa.
playing it in February, but it's
Uh-huh.
Wrestling Empire, brother. It's like
Crazy.
crazy, whacked out, buggy. It could also be the worst game of the year because it's so buggy and broken, but it's just amazing. If you love the classic, like, the No Mercy wrestling game where there's like random cutscenes, I mean not cutscenes but just like run-ins, like just stories being, I mentioned this on a prior show, but like organic things happening in that we haven't gotten from the 2K series, definitely last year. But yeah, it's a crazy game. It's on Switch and PC. It's a wrestling game on Switch, and it's a barcade game. You can have buddies over and play in like Royal Rumble mode or 4-player mode. It's just a crazy game, and it has every wrestler ever under different names, and you can go and change them all to the real name. Yeah, just if you love wrestling and you have a Switch, it's a no-brainer. It's just crazy. I gave it a 3.75 out of 5. It's awesome. So good, you're number 5.
Nice. In the same vein, my number 5 is also just a pretty good game, just a fun game. I got to this late, literally last week, because I wanted to try this out before we had this episode. But it's Outriders. I played the demo at first. I
Mhm.
wasn't thrilled with the demo, but the thing with the demo is like doesn't really get into the meat and potatoes. Like the game really shines when you kind of get more powers and abilities. If people don't know, this is the third person people could fly game. It's very Gears of War like, but with a hint of Destiny, where it's like you can do co-op and it's all about loot and stuff.
Right.
What's cool about Outriders is that it's like got that cover shooter feel, like exactly like Gears. They worked on Judgment, but you add in really interesting abilities. And the really cool thing about it is that it's a Game Pass game. It was Game Pass day one. And on Series
Win.
X it's great
Yeah.
looking. And
Nice.
I will say this is a little biased for the Trickster class. I don't know if the other classes are as fun. Truth be told, when I played the Pyro during the demo, I wasn't as thrilled with it. But if you play Trickster class, like I did, I feel like it was a legit 3.75 experience. Brews wise, 3.75 whiskeys, because it's just so fun. Like the story is like whatever, the characters are whatever. Like it's totally, the world is okay, but like the moment to moment combat is a lot. It's a blast to play even by yourself. Like I never really
Nice.
tried to play
Oh, great.
online.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Moody, like I think you would enjoy it by yourself, because it's super easy to play through. You can skip those cutscenes really. I mean, and then you could kind of toggle through some of the boring dialogue or whatever.
Great.
But when you're actually fighting, like all those abilities put together, it's a lot of fun.
I
It's like my playthrough is a lot like, it feels a lot like a gear shooter mixed with a character action game, because I could
Oh,
kind of
okay. All right.
warp in and out. I have an attack that warps to a person and like stabs in the back, and then I have another attack that slows time down around me, and you can see bullets in matrix time
Oh,
while you're
that's super
moving in
crazy.
fast motion. I was like, dude,
That's
this is
dope.
like,
That's
these powers are unique. I haven't even unlocked the whole tree for my character, so I'm excited. And I know from reading other people's reviews and thoughts about the game that there's a couple of the classes that are actually fun in their own right. So
mm,
this score could actually go up even more. I'm
right.
surprised after not liking the demo so much that I really started to enjoy this. I would say it takes some time to ramp up also, but not as much time as something like Biomutant. Biomutant took like 10 hours to ramp up. Persona 5 took like 100, like what, 10 hours to ramp up. This takes a little bit of ramp up, but it's only like an hour or so, a
No,
couple of
not bad.
missions, and then you're really kind of in it. And
Are you disappointed
fun.
that Square Enix didn't mention this at E3 at all? Like, isn't this like a game that a support game, ongoing support game?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I mean I still have all the game to play, so I'm not
Mm,
looking forward to new content, but I am surprised that they didn't announce any like
right.
DLC. Maybe it's too soon because it just came out. But yeah, that is kind of weird that they didn't mention it. Maybe
You
we'll see it
figured
in
they would. It
a,
was kind of like a hot game for a little bit,
a
but
Square Direct, yeah. But it's a solid Game Pass game. Like it's I can't believe it was
awesome.
on Game
Yeah,
Pass.
it's another one of those games. Like probably when I get a Series X, I'll have to
Yeah, definitely. You
jump
should
in. If I
definitely
get
check it
one
out.
earlier than like the Halo Forza, I'll be playing Plague Tale and Outriders probably. So
Yeah, especially if you want to see what that thing could do. It's a
mhm.
one of the newer games, one of the bigger AAA games to push your machine really.
Yep.
So yeah, Outriders. What's your number 4, man?
Persona 5 Strikers. You just mentioned Persona 5, so I gave that a 4 out of 5. I think I reviewed it or you did. I can't remember. This was earlier in the year. I
I
still haven't beat it yet, but
Oh
I did
really?
play a lot. I was in the 20s with hours. I think the total hours were 40, right?
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
I finished it.
Yeah, it's about 40 hours.
it's around 40 if you take your time with it like I did. I think you could knock it out in 30 if you skip some of the palace stuff and
Yeah.
don't do some of the side missions. I think you can knock it
Yeah, I
out in
think
30.
that's what it was is I started doing the side missions and stuff, so I kind of but
Side missions
yeah,
are meh.
yeah, that's all right.
Um,
Yeah.
it's more
So,
for leveling up. It's a grind to level up. But
yep.
the thing is, like, I don't think you need to. The boss wasn't that hard
Mm.
at the very end. So,
Okay,
but
cool.
yeah, it is
Oh,
my
that's
number 4
unlike
also.
Persona 5 Royal, those bosses were insane. So
Yeah, exactly. It's
crazy.
nothing
Okay.
like that as
But
far
yeah,
as that.
no, it's a solid experience. It's a different one. It's a was it Mushu game? Am I saying that
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So
or
different experience, but yeah,
Musu, I think.
Mushu. But yeah, definitely dope. Yeah, worthy of a top 5 for now. Probably will be a honorable mention at the end of the year, but yeah,
Unless
definitely if you
something goes
love
really
Persona.
wrong.
Yeah, but if you love Persona, definitely check it out. Yeah, you're 4.
Yeah, my 4 is Persona 5, Persona Strikers
Oh,
also.
nailed it. Okay, so number
Really,
3.
I'm a big fan. I love seeing all those characters again, man. It was
Yeah,
good to see them again. It was
definitely.
cool to have like another whole adventure.
Yep.
The one cop character I thought I wasn't gonna like, I ended up really liking, and there's some
Mhm.
surprises in the story. Uh, it's still not in comparison to like how I felt about 5. It's not quite there as far as like groundbreaking, but
Mhm.
I love 5 so much and those characters that just rode on to this, and just the charm of 5,
Yep.
just Strikers is exactly what it meant to do. Just take those characters and put them on another journey so you can spend more time with them,
Right.
and I enjoyed that. So
And I
yeah.
guess I told you the problem with it was I played it almost immediately after, like, just like
Yeah.
2 months after beating Royal, after playing 200 and something, 220, like a insane number of hours into Persona 5 Royal, and then playing this right after. I kind of like after 20 hours I was beat. So, but I haven't forgot about it though. I'm definitely gonna get back into it eventually.
Cool. What's your number 3?
Baseball. So I got the hat on. It was the NBA, the Major League Baseball All-Star game tonight. I haven't played an All-Star game in this, so maybe that's something I should do. The show 21. I gave it 4 and a quarter when we did it, and that's it. No one cares about sports. So you're 3, and I'll take the hat off.
My 3, I also talked about on this podcast a lot. You can go back to that episode, but it's Returnal. Sitting at a 4.25 for me so far.
Well,
The only
got
reason
some good
why it's
scores.
not bigger is because I haven't gotten back to it because of all the games that came out, but it's
Mhm.
still in the back of my head, and I still want to jump back into it when I have more time to get good. And then, so what's your number 2?
Number 2, Guilty Gear Strive. I haven't been able to talk about this since it came out 3 weeks ago. I bought the Ultimate Edition. The physical edition is on like eBay and Macari still, I think, as last time I checked a couple weeks ago, and it was like twice the cost. So it was like $200 or $150. So I
Dang.
just gave in and got the digital one, but I did buy the Ultimate Edition because it's going to have all the DLC and I won't have to go back and buy it. And yeah, I mean, with Jivo coming up, this is our main event. So actually, I'm gonna save my total thoughts on Guilty Gear until after it's gonna be the main event of GEVO, which is our video game tournament for God Hates Geeks, or Geeks Have Game now. So yeah, we'll just talk about it then. I'll just say like I gave it a 4.25 dash 4.5 because the gameplay's totally 4.5. We had a testy maybe about a week ago. I had or actually like July 3rd. I had people over and we were playing the hell out of this game and people love it. They really love the combat. It really makes an impact. You get the surround sound up and you really feel like you're in an arcade having a real fight. It's dope. So, but the biggest issue I will say on this one is the story mode. There's no battles in the story mode. It
Oh,
is There's a big debate on Reddit and people are fanboys or fangirls, they're going to defend and they defend this because they basically say the creator, sorry, I don't know his name at the moment, but they say he makes Guilty Gear. It's basically, you got to look at it as 3 games. They say it's a music album, it's an anime, and it's a fighting game. And sometimes they don't all align. Now the music is incredible. It's like high octane, heavy rock, and it's Japanese heavy rock, and it's so great. It fits the steampunk style of characters and the bombastic gameplay and the fights. But then you go to story mode and you're just sitting there watching 8 hours of anime straight. There is no fights. People defend it because they say, well, when you play Mortal Kombat, it it feels like the fights are forced, like you're watching really cool cutscenes and stories, but all of a sudden they just square up and you fight, and then it kind of goes back in. But I would much rather have that. I want to play. It's a video game. Like if you want to come out with a Guilty Gear anime on Crunchyroll, go do that. But to put an 8-hour anime on the game, like I guess I paid $100, but I feel like I paid $30 to watch this anime, and I'm totally lost because I haven't played any of the story modes in any of the other games because the old Guilty Gears have arcade mode. So now I got to go read a Wikipedia to understand this story mode. So it's
so this is like the fighting game Metal Gear Solid, basically. Some Kojima shit where it's like a
yeah,
huge ass cutscene.
it's it's a fighting game, so it's probably not a big deal to a lot of people. It's a very, it's a cornered market, but man, like really, I mean, Arc System Works has had some really dense story mode games like with Blast Blue and stuff, but at least I got to fight in those. Now, I would sit there for 40 minutes and be like, when am I going to fight? But eventually I got to fight. You cannot fight. You cannot play story mode. You can watch though. Have fun watching. But otherwise, the gameplay is great, and the music part, if it is a all original music, it's fantastic. So it's hard to grade this game low because of one mode, because the most important mode is couch co-op with your friends or online fighting. And so far it's great. And from what I hear, the netcode is fantastic online. There hasn't been that many trouble with the servers or anything. Usually that's the big no with all new fighting games. But it's the first PS5 banger, right? So with fights, and it's great as far as a fighting game.
Cool. Nice, man. My number 2 is Hitman 3. I also had a whole ass episode about this earlier on. It's also weighted because I played all the Hitmans together, because if you buy 3, you can play 1 and 2 in the same engine, new graphics and stuff. But I'm a newbie to the series, and they did a good job. IOI did a good job at onboarding newbies and bringing people into the series, even though it's the last game. And I freaking fell in love, man. It was amazing. Had a lot of fun, had a lot of laughs, and it's a unique experience. Go listen to the other episode. Hitman 3, lots of fun. Can't wait for James Bond. And what is your number 1, sir?
Same as yours, Ratchet
Same
and
as
Clank
yours.
Rift Apart. And I don't even I remember, we don't have each other's list. So
Nope.
but yeah, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It's hard for me not to give this a 5, but I know there are issues like the fact that your 2 protagonists have the same, they play the same. They didn't they those Lombax, there's no difference in them,
You
but
literally share the same currency and the same upgrades. That was kind of weird, but I was like, it makes it easier to play, I guess. So
It
whatever.
does. It does. I still have. I'm actually at 50% overall. I think I'm pretty deep in the story though. But it's one of those where I did mention. I think in the Gamescast, I said this is the perfect game. You work all day, you come home, you can play for an hour, and that's it. You watch like some baseball after or something, but like just to unwind, it's a perfect game. Just it's a platform. It's colorful. It's funny. It's beautiful. It's a damn near perfect game. Minus a couple things here and there. Oh, it's crazy as I'm on this I don't know which planet now. I think I'm 12 or something, but the whole thing was railing. So I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Oh, this reminds me of Xbox game with the
Jack
remind
Ryan
me."
Radio.
Oh, that too, but
Oh, Sunset Overdrive. They're
Sunset
Insomniac.
Overdrive. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that I was like, okay, now it makes sense. Insomniac, like, because in Spider-Man, you're not really railing, you're
Mhm.
flying and stuff, but and webbing. But yeah, this was the whole episode was a roller coaster, dude, and it was it was fun. It was super
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, I just love this game. If
Yeah.
you do eventually get a PS5, you have to have this game.
Yeah.
I don't
It
care.
looks amazing.
Yeah, you have to have it.
It's like it's kind of visually like just gorgeous. Like the art
Mm,
direction, the
mm,
amount of
mm,
assets they put,
mm,
that whole switching through the rift thing is like super cool.
mhm.
And they do some really cool stuff with that as far as like set pieces go. It's not a perfect game for me either because I feel like still feels like just a really, 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 really fancy PS2 game, kind of in a way, as far as like the platforming stuff. It feels like there's one extra gear I wanted it to go. I beat the game damn near 100%, but I'm not going to go back and collect everything with so many games to play, especially my
Right.
asterisk game, and we have not yet to mention. But for what it was, dude, it was really great. I It left me wanting more in a good and a bad way. Like in a good way, as far as like I can't wait to play. I hope we get to play another game in this series sometime down the line in the PS5 generation.
Do you think there will be DLC? Because when I'm done, I'm like, do I sell this or do I hold on to it? Will there be a DLC story?
I hope so, but
Mm.
I could see them doing is I could see them doing a Rivet and Kit spin-off. So kind of like they did with Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Miles. You mean
Yeah,
Miles?
and Miles, exactly.
Yeah.
Miles, same studio,
Right,
exactly.
right. That's what I'm
So
like, you mean Miles, right? You don't mean
yeah,
Uncharted. You
I
mean
could
Miles.
I could see them doing that
Yeah.
and making it like a 20 $40 standalone. So
Yeah.
I don't know
I
if
mean,
they're gonna do story DLC for this.
okay.
I think it was well worth the $70.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Mhm.
it was a fantastic game.
Absolutely.
It's not mind blowing, but I don't think Ratchet's supposed to be, as far as like, it's not supposed to be groundbreaking. It's not
Well,
supposed to be.
I'm blown away by the visuals, and I'm blown
Yeah, yeah.
away by the Pixar like characterizations, the story, the charm. I'm blown away by the adaptive
Oh
controls.
yeah, hell yeah, dude. Oh my
Like
god,
the
like the rain on the controller,
yeah, yeah,
just the walking around. They did a
yeah,
really good job with that.
yeah. Yeah,
They
so
have the
those things blow me away. But yeah, it doesn't blow me away like the first time you played, whatever, Halo or something. Yeah, it's not like that, but it's like it's blown away for different reasons.
yeah, for me, I would
Smaller
say it didn't blow me away
reasons.
in the fact that like it shouldn't, because I wanted it to ramp up the difficulty one more, as far as not just like increase enemies and stuff, but like kind of like doing more with the mechanics in a more challenging way, kind of like I would say even the level in Titanfall 2, that was like what they do with the rifts, where you're going back and forth to platform and stuff.
Yeah, those were great. Yeah, it was
I
cool.
feel like that level uh did more challenging things, but this is a kids game, so it's not going to do that much challenging things. So it's like, I understand why they didn't do that. I just kind of wish they had the ability to do that.
It's a
But
kids game that only adults are playing, but I get what you're saying.
yeah,
Uh
yeah, it's a big kids
yeah,
game,
big kid
kids at heart.
like me, toys. All right,
But
so
there is a game that neither of us
yeah,
mentioned, but obviously it's looms large this year. I
yeah.
haven't beat it yet. You beat it too many times. It's
Uh,
Mass Effect
yeah. Well,
Legendary Edition.
I haven't beat the legendary edition too many times. I've
Okay.
actually just a few weeks ago, right when we were done the last show, I beat Mass Effect 1 and did it
Okay.
in less than 30. And I thought every game was going to be 80 hours. It was like, oh, I forgot that Mass Effect 1 was really short. But then I guess 2 and 3 are much longer from what I heard. Because I do remember playing probably Mass Effect 3 like 70 something hours. I know for sure. So to beat this in 30, but I didn't do like a lot of the exploration. I kind of, and then, I mean, my femship had a fling with Liaria. So I did talk
Me too.
so I did flirt with everybody on the ship or tell them to fuck off. But I stayed Paragon. And the one thing that sucks is once you beat the final boss, no spoilers, you can't go back. Like that's it. So, like most games that are open world and RPG, you beat the boss and you go back and do all the small stuff. And I was like, oh, guess I don't have to explore any planets on the Mass Effect 2. So, but I'll give it 4.25. I think back in the day, I probably gave it a 4 out of 5. I wouldn't know. It's 2007. Wasn't doing the Gamescast then. I wasn't even in California then. But yeah, 2010 was Mass Effect 2 and 2012 Mass Effect 3. So this game has come a long way. It looks gorgeous. I don't know. I still haven't. I just popped in 2 and didn't even play it yet. I got to like go through the story again, like the refresh and upgrade my character and stuff. But have you dove into 2 and 3 yet on this disc?
I
Or
just started. I'm getting into 2, like probably 5 or 6 hours into 2. I beat
okay.
1 also. I was also surprised at how short it was.
Yeah.
I thought it might be just like a generation thing, like oh, games just
Mhm.
got longer as time went on. But I'm hoping 2 is a lot longer because I really want to dive deep into it. But I'm really liking 2 so far. It's kind of like a big jump from 1. I feel like
Mhm.
I know that they enhance 1, but when I started playing 2, I'm like, oh, this feels a lot better. This looks a lot better. And I'm really digging it more, but I feel like I haven't got the story going yet. I'm still just getting people and stuff. So um but I will say, like, just as an appreciation of a piece of video game history that I missed at the time,
Yeah.
I'm really appreciating it. And it's like at a 4.5 for me, probably gonna go higher as I get more into 2. Like
Yeah. Mhm.
I really enjoy the game. And I'm kind of, this is the one thing that I'm gonna just take my time on. Like I'm not gonna try to binge all of 2. I'm gonna play it slowly and really get into it, and do everything I can because I really like the world, and I really like all the, I
Mhm.
even like that's the scanning shit. Like it's so rudimentary and like basic, but it's kind of like fun when you're listening to a podcast or some shit to just
Mhm.
scan a planet and like get the resources or whatever. It's like, oh, this shouldn't be fun, but it is, like Gwent.
Yeah. No,
So
that's
I
yeah.
really can't wait to play 2 and 3.
Mhm.
I'm hearing a lot of people saying that 3 is actually not that bad. And if I don't have that baggage that everyone had about the ending,
Yeah.
since I'm just playing it for the first time and I'm
No,
not waiting generations, I think I might enjoy it more than most
no,
people.
yeah, I think 3, if we had a choice in the ending, if the ending actually aligned with the way our character was
Mm,
represented through all these hours, it would have been probably even better than 2. They definitely advanced stuff, but two's more memorable because it didn't have a chance to fuck everything up. So it kind of was just it was the Empire Strikes Back, and before the Ewoks took over and ruined everything, right? Like Mass Effect 3. So that's how people remember this. But yeah, I think Mass
yeah,
Effect 3 with a more controlled, and I think they do have the DLC ending is in this from what I gather. So there's no uproar this time. It's the right call. So yeah.
cool.
So,
Uh,
but I can't wait to get back into it. Maybe I can bring you out of retirement for one episode and we could just talk about Mass Effect 2 and 3, maybe even next year or something. Cause, I'm sure we're going to have a gazillion games that all come out in October. It'll probably take over our time with this. But yeah, you never know. I like to revisit Mass Effect with you because, especially, this is your first playthrough. And, this will be whatever, third playthrough, I guess, at the time. But first with Legendary. So yeah, that'd be fun. We'll see. Right.
yeah, man. And then if you go on Geeks Love
Oh,
Game,
one more, one more,
Geeks Have Game.
one
Oh,
more.
what's that?
Hades.
Oh,
So
right.
it came out for the Switch this year, but it's a 2018 port. It came out in March for the Switch, but this would be if I counted it, this would be number 2 right behind Ratchet and Clank. A very close number one. I gotta give it so far 4.5 out of 5, but I'm nowhere near. I mean, I played a lot of it um in the late teens, so I put some hours in, but nowhere near where I could. But it's a great, for a roguelike, it's a classic. It's a great game.
Such a
Yeah.
cool,
It's just cool.
it's cool thing to do with a roguelike. It's a cool
Mhm.
spin on that genre. I really like it. And everyone's just like
Yeah.
hot and horny and shit. And like I like how that shit just keeps on, your progress technically keeps on going in a cool way. That's coming to PlayStation, and Xbox for people who haven't got to play that yet. So
Okay, good segue.
and it will be on Game Pass. This
Ooh,
episode brought
that's
to you by
right.
Game
That's
Pass.
right. That's right. You nailed it. Yep.
Really quick, Geeks Have Game. In general, the site, you averaged together the scores, Moody.
Yeah, I just did the research on the reviews. That's probably all of Dee's list. I don't know exactly what game. I know there's a couple games here she didn't review, I think, but overall,
so for the site, our official scores, our
yeah,
official top 5 for the site, or for the site itself, would
yeah,
be Bowser's Fury at number 5.
yeah, 4 to 5.
I
Yep.
admittedly haven't played it, but it looks really cool. Persona
Yep.
5 Strikers got 4 out of 5. I
Yeah,
think that
from
was
us,
me.
from me, I think. I don't remember.
Resident Evil Village, another one I want to get into. 4.25 out of 5.
Yeah.
Heard that's real fun. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart got a 4.7.
Neil reviewed that one, I think.
Oh, cool.
I think it's been a while. So, yeah. I think Neil reviewed that Ratchet and Clank. So.
People could Google it. Just
yeah,
look
4.
at the site.
He gave it a 4.75, which is about what I give it, and I'm not done yet. So, and then what would you give Ratchet and Clank?
4.75.
You gave it that score yourself? Okay, cool.
And then It Takes Two, 4.75 out of 5 to 4.75 to 5.
Yeah,
and that's another game that
I believe Dee did review that one, so it's probably her game of the year. But you know what? It Takes Two is going to remind me of like one of those games where it's early in the year, it gets a high score, and then at the end of the year, no one's going to remember that it was a 2021 game. And if they do remember, they're going to be like, oh, well, I played 7 games since then. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It just reminds me of Halo Wars 2 when Patrick gave it a 5 out of 5 or something ridiculous.
It looks cool, though. I really want to. I've seen people play it. I really want to try it out. I just, it's getting another person to play a whole thing with you is hard to do. So, Dee's got a partner that games with her. So that's cool. Must be nice.
Yeah, living the dream.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that on a Tinder 4th date or some shit.
Yeah,
I'll play It Takes Two. But it looks cool, like the different mechanics and the different ways that you play co-op together look really interesting. I've seen some streams of comedians that were playing it together, and it looked really fucking interesting and really cool.
Oh, awesome. That's super cool.
But yeah, man,
the sad part of the show.
Yeah. Gamescast 40. Signing off.
40 years of Gamescast, man. We've go way back.
Yeah, I mean, so our first official episode was 2018 E3, but
E3, which is cool because we just wrapped up the 2021
full
E3.
circle.
Dude, that long? Wow, 3 years, huh?
But dude, we've been doing this as like even GHG standalone podcast episodes since like way earlier than that.
2013.
We've talked about.
Yeah,
I remember one of the things we first talked about together on a podcast for GHG at the time, God Hates Geeks, was freaking Batman Arkham Asylum, man. We spoke about that. That's how early we've been doing this
Dana
together.
and Zom and like some other folk. Lance, I think. Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, that's true. Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight. Sorry, yeah.
Still, I mean, that was a while ago. So yeah 2015, I want to say 2016.
Yep. That's how long that we've been podcasting together. But officially as a Gamescast, 2 years, which is a big solid run for this.
Well, 3.
Oh, 3. Fuck, I forgot it's 2021.
19, 20, 21. Yep. But I think it's 3 total years, right? Am I doing the 18 and 19, 19 to 20, 20 to 21? Yeah, 3 years. But I'd say around 5, maybe 6, we've been doing shows together. As far as just like special shows like on games We've done a bunch of Marvel movie, DC movie, nerd movie stuff,
Well,
comic
we
stuff.
did we did most
Yeah,
E3s as
you guys
God
did.
Hates Geeks as a podcast.
Yeah.
We did a lot of like the big games like the Arkham games and shit. Uh Not quite so big as, I don't know, probably our biggest game in the Gamescast was Red Dead Redemption.
Your buddy
Probably our
James
longest
Flores,
episode
yeah.
with James from formerly of Gamesters Paradise. We did 2 hours. That was crazy.
Yeah, remember, I was like, when I looked that up, I was like, holy crap. Every time we get around an hour, we apologize at the end. We're like, damn, we went twice as long as we wanted to, because we're on YouTube now. Before, we just did podcasts on like whatever app it was, and Apple iTunes and all that. But now it's like, now that we do an hour, this is definitely over an hour today, we're like, oh man. Where before we used to do 2 hours and it was no problem. We're like, yeah, we went 2 hours. Awesome. Like, it was like an accomplishment. Now it's like, damn it, we didn't go 20 minutes. We're screwed.
I mean, that's the difference between YouTube and podcasting. You have to like sit and watch a video, but podcasting, you can. I do the dishes and my laundry and shit while just have.
You can still listen to a YouTube.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, because there's plenty of podcasts on YouTube that, if I don't have time, if they have an audio option, I will download the audio option. If they don't have that, I will just run the YouTube app on my phone while I'm driving or something, or in the background, like you said, while doing dishes or cleaning or whatever. So you don't have to look at these two pretty faces all the time. And now, the future pretty faces, you can just listen. I know there are people on Facebook who follow Geeks Have Game and all the stuff we do, and they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna give it a listen, and I'm like, I'm not gonna correct them. Like, let them.
That makes me feel a lot better, honestly.
Let them listen to Toy Talk.
You were just sitting here and watching it, that makes me feel a little bit more self-conscious. So,
wow, shout out to Robert Behar with his amazing.
Yes.
He's been a big part of the show. And he's definitely, he's the host of, he's the co-host of Toy Kind of Mood. But on this, he's done such great job doing the B-roll footage, which is always, I watch him again. Like, I'll record it and I know what I'm talking about, but I watch it again just to watch his B-roll kind of like sink in with what we're doing. So yeah, shout out to Bobby, beautiful Bobby. He's getting married this January.
Yeah, we're all gonna be there. That will be another GHG reunion.
You're going?
Uh-huh.
Yes. I've been hanging out with Lancelot lately. Lancelot, get it? Ha ha. So I've been hanging out with Lance often lately, and he's going too, man.
Hell yeah.
We're all in it. We're in the wedding. Right? Yeah. So there you go.
Moody, you wrote down a bunch of highlights. I want to hear you talk about them of our time together.
Yeah, I want to also shout out my last roommate, because he's like one of the only roommates I had that I'm no longer his roommate, where there's no like bad blood. I guess I'm such a monster, Shout
out Artez Bailey, man. He's been on the show recently.
He's a great guy. He was on one of our recent shows, and he was on the second episode, and this was just after we all went to E3 together. We had that, and we mentioned this on the show countless times because it's like almost the highlight. I hate to say it because it was the second episode, but that Bethesda, we like to party. You and I love to party. We love to do that stuff. And the Bethesda presser and party was just tremendous.
So fun, dude.
And it was was just amazing. And we missed that. And hopefully next year we can, maybe we'll do a Gamescast reunion at it'll be the Xbox Bethesda thing, but who knows what the future
bigger
is.
Party.
Yeah, we'll see. Or maybe none at all. They'll trim the budget. So we'll see what happens. But
I want to shout this highlight out that you wrote down, even though it's embarrassing for me. But yes, on this very fucking podcast, me and Adam Bowers praised Anthem. I'll stand by the fact that like it's a fun game to play in the beginning. It was cool enough to do it was okay. It was interesting to start off with. It had some good ideas in the beginning, but you
guys almost gave that shit like a 5.
I know,
like
man.
It was like the score was no longer than 4.25. It was, hey, that's the beauty of podcasts. We all have like super embarrassing moments. I mean, pretty much in every show I say something that's not correct, so it's okay. Like we all have a lot going on up here. But that
I will
was
say that's not embarrassing. That's
entertaining.
just a message to Bethesda. Hey, if you have a core gameplay thing that's really cool, maybe you don't need that other shit. Maybe the flying shit was good enough, you know, like that's we love that shit so much. Let's give it a 5. Your
You meant
project that
BioWare.
basically
See, we just made a mistake. You
oh
said
BioWare,
Bethesda.
sorry. I got senioritis.
See, I love it. We're doing mistakes about mistakes. It's amazing.
That's how memorable Anthem is. It's like I accidentally said the wrong studio that did it.
That's great.
That was funny. Yeah. Man, we had some cool episodes like Astral Chain versus Astral Plane.
That was just
funny.
creative. I mean, Astral Chain came out the same time as Control, like more or less like within the same month or maybe the same day. I don't remember, but they both had the same thing going for it, but with two completely different audiences.
Yeah,
So
two
it was
completely different styles, but
Yeah.
like the same themes in a weird way. The same like
Gameplay
sort of like
was similar.
psychedelic
Yeah.
character action, but like in two different kind of styles. It was really crazy, you know.
Yeah, and what's crazy is to this day, I could be wrong. I haven't done the research, but I'm almost sure no one did a show like that. Like, yeah, even if we had whatever 100 views, 200 views, whatever it was, 200 hits, it's like we had these two things that made sense. And then I was like, but I didn't see it. Heard no mention of the two going together in any GameSpot, Game Informer, IGN. I was proud of it. Hey, we're a small fish in a big pond. So when we have shows like that are creative, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. We don't make any money on it, whatever. It's like, it feels good to like be like, hey, we did something that's like super creative and cool, you know? And that was one of we did several of those, but that was one of them.
Yeah, we had a lot of it's the way this podcast evolved into a YouTube show basically is really crazy. And it's been a fun ride, man. You know, like I'm glad you're gonna keep going with this whole thing with this show, and I'm glad I can't wait to see all our you know, from an outside point of view, I can't wait to see all my favorite guests come back and talk about stuff with you guys.
Yeah. Shout out Michelle, D, Dana, Dan, hopefully in full Viking cosplay or whatever. You know, he'll come back as a G.I. Joe. But yeah, we'll definitely have Dan back on. Love Michelle. If it's anything, you know.
I hope you have Dan back on for every Assassin's Creed, man. He's like the perfect guy to talk about any Assassin's Creed. We had a full-on historian in Viking gear.
Oh yeah.
I think he has roots back to Viking days. Oh yeah, he does. He has like ancestors. So that's crazy. That was like the most authentic thing that we've ever done on this podcast. Yeah. You know, besides like you going to Japan.
Yeah, that was
like a whole thing.
That was I'm scared to. I kind of want to, but I don't want to be depressed because that was like the pre-Rona life. And while things are opening back again, they're not the same.
No, so and not really out there. They're kind of having trouble out there. So
yeah, especially over there. That might make me sad because they're in deep crap right now. So yeah, you know, I was supposed to go back probably already two times since that happened. But in a way, that was just a cherishable moment in my life. Never mind just a show. You know, it was just to even just play video games there. It was just, wow, I'm doing this. I'm getting my ass kicked in Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo on the sidewalk by some random in Tokyo. Like, this is happening.
That's like, badass.
This is happening. You know, like that's just one of the things. I was able to share it with you guys, and that meant a lot. So thanks, Myke, for that.
Yeah, man. I'm glad I was there for that. Yeah, this has been a fun time, man. And you know, like I'm still, like I said, I'm glad you're gonna keep on going with it. The Gamescast deserves to live on. If people haven't, go to Geekdom Gamescast on Facebook and join that group. A lot of fun memes, a lot of fun discussion. A little poking here and there between the console wars just for fun. Like to bring up the console wars every now and then. It's a good time, and Travis is always there, and he's always stirring up the pot, and there's a lot of people stirring up the pot actually in a fun way.
What guy owns a PS5, doesn't own a Series X, and wears this to the final? Yes, it's just what I do, man. But yeah, I don't know. I guess stay tuned. I'm gonna talk to the new army and see what we can assemble. And we got EA Play, and if that's not as disappointing as like the Bandai 2K Square UB, if it's a
Every
little,
developer, publisher.
if it actually has content more than those, I think we could do a quick turnaround show. If not, I'm not sure. I may sit on this for a little bit, take some time, and just do the toy thing for the summer. We'll see. We'll see how that EA. It's on you whether the Gamescast comes back soon. Because as far as heavy hitter releases, we're in a dead zone, which is great when you got a Mass Effect Legendary Edition. It's perfect timing. You still got these other games we mentioned on Games Pass and stuff, and God knows I have like a backlog of like 40 games on Switch. It's just like it's a lot. So yeah, I mean, either way, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll come back sooner or later with D, Jameson, and Chris. But in the meantime, stay tuned to the YouTube channel and support our toy show. For now, people love it. I got so much feedback this week about the action figure stuff, about all the little vignette shows, and people were just messaging me, and they thought we did such a good job with it, and it's just talking about stuff we love. So I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks.
Nice, man. And I will say as a tease, Moody will be on the Geekdom Fancast one more time in a little thing. For people that don't know, the YouTube Fancast is like the first geek thing I've been doing for the longest with Derek. It's how I met Moody and GHG, everyone at GHG. And the GHG family have all been on the podcast many times. And we're doing, as we speak, we're recording a bunch of different sessions with basically every single one of our favorite guests, one section at a time. I just recorded with Robert and Ryan, and I'm going to talk to Moody. Me and Derek are going to talk to Moody soon as part of the second to last episode of the Geekdom Fancast. And we'll talk more and reminisce more about GHG and all that stuff there. So please check that out. My last two geek things as before I retire, the Geekdom Fancast. And I can't wait to talk to you there, Moody. So people check that out real quick. And then if that show will go on too after with Derek and he's gonna have his little roundtable of new hosts also that you will be familiar with if you listen to this show or are familiar with GHG, including me when I come back. Also, I'll be coming back on that also to like for Marvel movies and shit, like big Star Wars. Probably when there's a new Star Wars movie, I'll be back there. So even though I'm saying goodbye to everyone now as like a permanent rotating host, I will eventually be back for the heavy hitters because I can't. I don't imagine I'll ever step away from the geek life completely. Just as a full-time media person, I can't do that. But
once you're GHG, you're GHG for life.
I'm still, yeah. I'm not gonna stop watching these movies and playing these games. So I'm gonna want to.
Then we'd have some serious problems, Michael. We'd have some real serious problems if that happened.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, then I'll be a phony, but I'm not a phony. I'm just a troubled person that can't get rid of his inner child. That's why we've been doing this for the whole time. And that being said, thank you to all the listeners and the viewers. I really appreciate it. Even if it's your first time or if you've been with us since the Arkham Knight days, it's really actually started to get sentimental all of a sudden, really crazy. It's so crazy to me that you would listen to me and my friends and care about our opinions and actually spend time with us. Like I may not be as active recently on the Facebook group and stuff, but I know I still hear people's feedbacks and I still hear people like say that they listened and say that they had similar or different opinions, and it's just like it still blows my mind that anyone cared, and I really appreciate it, and that's so crazy. You guys are the best.
Well said.
I love you all. You're in good hands, Moody. You're gonna kill it. You, D, everyone. I know you're gonna have fun. And,
but you know what sucks?
What?
We need a new logo now. Damn it! Work. I don't want to work. I just want to play. I want to talk. I don't want to figure out logos and figure out algorithms. I just want to play.
You have time. It's the summer, like you said. Yeah. We're gonna have a little bit of dead time before anything cool comes out. Skyward Sword. Who wants to hear about that? Fuck it.
Yeah, probably not.
All right, guys. Thank you once again. It is my last
Geekdom
Gamescast. Follow me anyways. I'm gonna take a social media break, but I'll come back at one Myke ONEMYK on Twitter and Instagram. Moody. Geeksabgame.com.
Geeksab Game.
Find all the socials and stuff there, right? Anything else you want to plug, man?
Everything's there. Nah, that's it, dude. This is all about you, man. Thank you, man. It's been fun. If nothing else, it's just always fun chatting with you for 30, 40, hour and a half, whatever it is. It's always a highlight to do this, whether it's once a month, once every 3 months, once a week, whatever it is. It's always a good time talking about games. Honestly, without the show, it's like it's hard for me to get playing video games. I mean, I play video games every day, but it's hard for me to even play more than a couple hours just because there's so many other things I like. It's a marathon man disease. So Renaissance man, I should say, not marathon man, Renaissance man, master of none. So, but doing this show makes me feel good about gaming in the industry and the community we have and the friendship we have as well in the games we play. So it makes it all worth it for sure. Even if we just talk about games and I never get to play them, it fills a void. So you've helped do that. And it's nice. It's great, man. It's always fun.
Man, I mean, yeah, same here, dude. Like this is, in a way, it like validates this like juvenile hobby we've had, makes us feel like grown-up boys getting to talk about this, but also like we do have a lot to say, and it's interesting. I love the conversations that we get to have on video games and learn more about ourselves and each other and our friends and like ideas that we've come across and like things that we've absorbed from games and shit. So it's really good. And it's not the end. I mean, it is, but like I'll be back.
The end of this episode. It's late. We both gotta go to bed, Myke.
Love you guys. I will see you later. Red Dead Redemption 3, baby. Grand Theft Auto 6. I'll be on those episodes.